spokesperson of the National Students Financial Aid Scheme, Babu Mnisi, and ladies and gentlemen of the media. Today, just to make sure you are in the right venue, we have called this briefing in response to a report that many of you would perhaps be aware of OUTA, which was published on the 4th of January, and the related issues. And the purpose of the media briefing of today is to respond to that report, in particular some of the falsities that are in this report, and the intention to tarnish my image and that of my department and the government. We thought that in addition to the media engagement that we have already had on this matter, we should convene this special media briefing. The purpose of this media briefing is to challenge the allegations contained in the OUTA report, refute the related distortions, and take the public into confidence on what is really behind these allegations against me and Mr. Kosa. Firstly, I wish to once again assure the South African public that as Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, I have never used any money from any of my department's entities for the purpose of funding the South African Communist Party. As Maxman's report, without fear and without any favor, part of these recommendations is the termination of the contracts of the direct payment service providers. Thirdly, as you may be aware, the SACP has already made its stance known on the false allegations contained in the OUTA statement and rejected them with the contempt they deserve. I also wish to place it on record, by the way, that I do a lot of party political fundraising, especially for the South African Communist Party, as is the case, I'm sure, with leaders of all our political parties. However, with the strict guidance from the SACP, I'm not permitted to raise funds from entities under my departments or knowingly from... Is that the very same people that OUTA was attacking initially, before this investigation was made. OUTA now is opportunistically colluding with the people that they were attacking as having been corrupt, because now there is a bigger price, which is the head of Blade Nzimande. I'm suspecting that that is what is happening here. And we say to the media, do your investigative work and find out what is it that is really happening. We are also of the view that the publishing of this report and leaking of the recording is calculated also to disrupt the smooth start to the academic year, and have no regard for the plight and well-being of poor and working class students. In any case, an organization like OUTA doesn't care about ordinary poor black South Africans. It's an African of the elite. It's an organization of the elite that serves the interests of the elite. Structural and social constraint to accessing education that was imposed by centuries of colonial and apartheid rule. There is no doubt that this government has made a decisive contribution towards breaking with these patterns and legacies of the past in our country. Under my stewardship, the performance of NSFAS in achieving the goal of providing students access and success has been remarkable, given the increase of loans and bursaries awarded for the poor and academically deserving students since the formation of the scheme. In 2010, for instance, a year after I was appointed Minister of Higher Education and Training then, TVET college students were included for the first time ever in NSFAS financial support for the first time, as 2015 to 2020 was 299%. And if you consider the period from 1991 at the inception of the NSFAS predecessor known as TEFSA to 2010-20, the growth rate in student numbers supported by this fund has been 6,908%. This is a clear indication that government has prioritized student funding and broadening of access to those sections of our community who had no access to post-school education and training in the past. That's why I really take the strongest exception to be called a thief, to actually take money away from the poor students. I have no such record. That is why, by the way, the SABC, I want to say this, I was very unhappy with SAFM this morning. They say, yeah, they're implying Nzimande said to have taken 500,000 rand from Willie Madisha. NSFAS students are going to be graduating now with the graduation ceremonies that are coming for 2024. There will be lots of them because NSFAS is just churning them out. We must distinguish between problems and challenges, which we acknowledge, by the way. And I'm working hard with NSFAS board to deal with these things, but to then want to rubbish the scheme just because there have been problems with payment of allowances doesn't reflect the true picture. As part of my oversight over NSFAS, this coming Wednesday, the 10th of January, I will be meeting the board of NSFAS to receive progress on the 2024 application process, the finalization of the 2023 disbursements, the implementation of the accommodation pilot project, student accommodation, and the phased implementation of the comprehensive fair game. It's like if you are a minister, some gossips that are taking place all over the place, people just take that, throw it at you, because you are a minister, it's going to stick as fair game. As I've said, I'm seriously looking at my own rights that are being violated in this process of being faced with allegations that are spurious. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. We will now give an opportunity to you, colleagues from the media, to ask any of your questions, and I'm sure you have prepared those already. So what we are going to do is that we're going to have a round of 3 questions, and as per usual, could you just kindly introduce yourself and the institution?
Has that already happened, or are you planning to? And then secondly, OUTA indicated that they are planning to hand over these recordings to the SIU. What is your response to that? And then thirdly, Ishmael, I don't know if you want to say anything on NSFAS's part, because obviously the board chair has been heavily implicated as well. If there's any response to all of this. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Those questions have been noted. Yes, ma'am.
From Newsroom Africa. Minister, you talked about being available to be processed through the disciplinary processes of the SACP and the ANC. Where is that coming from? Have they reached out to you, or you are merely taking initiative to clear your name within those political structures? But also, have you engaged the statement and these recordings, and can you absolutely tell the nation that actually that's not your voice, that's not you? Can you clear?
The SIU has been in my institutions, I don't know for how many years now, possibly almost close to 10 years in some instances. They've been at Fort Hare, they've been at NSFAS. Where else have they been? They've been at NSF. No, not yet at NSF. They want to get into NSF. They've been in the CETAs. They are now at the Refuting College of the Tibet. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Now, Mhlaba, I am taking the initiative to go to the Integrity Committee of the ANC and what is called the Central Ethics Committee of the Central Committee of the South African Communist Party. It's on my own volition, because I want to go there and account and put my side of the story as to what is it that I know. But cooperating with any law enforcement agency also, I do not have a problem, because as I have said, I have no fear. So I think that I have answered all that I need to answer. Thank you. For now.
All right, we can have another round if colleagues still have questions. A lot of things have been very clear, right? Have been very clear and straightforward. but it doesn't mean that you may not still have some questions, you know. So we'll check around the room. Are there further questions? Okay, let's note your hand. Is there any other colleague from the media who perhaps has a... Oh, okay, here at the back there.
Not directly related to...
Okay, yeah, just one moment. I want the colleague to start and then you can follow. All right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I have a question here from Brian Sophie from the Citizen. Minister Nzimande, have you already served legal papers on OUTA? The letter has already been referred to law enforcement officers.
Being turned into sitting ducks just because we happen to be ministers. For every Tom, Dick and Harry to insult us as they wish. So I will announce at an appropriate time. I don't want to preempt that. I'm exploring, as I have said, Brian, all legal options at the moment. Well, I don't have, unfortunately, the details. You know, if it was a press conference of DSI, I would also be having my DG and other officials. All I can say is that with the meerkat, everything is going well. We are now going to be moving the second stage of beginning to build those dishes for the square kilometer array. The construction is going to be starting very soon, which is a project that we are really excited about because we're going to be building in South Africa one of the largest science infrastructure in the world for astronomy, which generates a lot of... I had never had the experience of being accused, and knowing that I had not done this, I immediately treated myself as an accused. And I was subjected to lifestyle audit. Some of it, to be quite honest, very demeaning. To go and count my wife's bras in the wardrobe, whether we can afford these bras and underwear, you know, was very, very offensive. Because this Madisha had accused me of something and I had never been accused. Since then, when I reflected, I made a vow. If you accuse me, come with evidence. Otherwise, everybody will be accused and then you get... If you accuse me, come with evidence. With these accusations also, I want evidence, genuine evidence. In Nzimande, you took actually be processed. But I report to Cabinet mostly around these things, especially also because NSFAS, whenever it has got challenges, everybody becomes concerned. And we have to take them into account, into our confidence as to what is it that we are doing. NSFAS continues to do good for South Africa. We are very proud. There is no scheme of its kind anywhere in the world that I'm aware of by them, especially in a developing country. Thank you.
I will now invite Ubabu Ishmael Mnisi, the spokesperson of NSFAS, to just come and respond to one or the other question.
Gasompisi, thank you very much. Minister,
Well, insofar as SKA is concerned, by the way, you must remember that it's a number of countries that are partners, including China is one of them, but also we've got Germany, I think we've got France, and so on. All of them are interested in participating in building this computer capacity, in collaboration amongst themselves and also some of them in collaboration with South Africa. As to where the ultimate decision on which areas and so on, that will be done through the normal process of the department in terms of supply chain. It can be any, I guess. It can be China, it can be the USA. As you know, as South Africa, we are champions of true multilateralism, and that we engage with the whole.
To the minister, to DDG, to Ubabu Mnisi, the advisor, the other colleagues who are supporting us in the background, and a special thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen of the media, in particular for your patience. We had a bit of a abrupt start, but it seems like we have proceeded quite smoothly. And we hope to engage with you again on Thursday. We will be sharing those details with you. That concludes this media briefing. Thank you very much.
Ngibambe.